will present on vape regulations in Australia. In this presentation, we will analyze the important role of each stakeholder in regulating and controlling tobacco and vape regulations in Australia. Every 22 minutes, an Australian dies from tobacco-related diseases. Despite decades of progress, tobacco and now vaping continue to threaten the health of young Australians. Smoking remains the leading cause of preventable death in Australia. Smoking is estimated to kill about 20,000 Australians a year and was responsible for about 8.6% of the total burden of diseases in Australia. Since the effect of e-cigarettes is largely unknown, many people recognize e-cigarettes as less harmful alternative to tobacco. However, recent research indicated that e-cigarette consumptions are correlated to cardiovascular, pulmonary, neurological diseases, and cancer. Although the prevalence of smoking has substantially decreased over the last decade, from 2.4 million in 2016 to 1.8 million in 2022, the prevalence of e-cigarette consumption increased exponentially over the same period, from 100,000 to 700,000, and is higher among younger populations. In 2022, 1 in 5 people aged 14 and older reported to ever vaped. The prevalence of young vapor aged 14 to 17 has tripled between 2019 and 2023. This emphasizes the urgent need to implement regulations to address the current vaping situations among younger generations and prevent future health burden. Multiple stakeholders play a significant role in regulating and controlling vaping policies, include government, non-government organizations, the tobacco industry, and affiliated lobbying organizations. The government has a direct role in generating and regulating policy against tobacco and vaping products. NGO and public health organizations often advocate for stricter regulations against smoking through funding for research and campaigns. On the other hand, the tobacco industry lobbies against the government through mass media, promoting vaping as a less harmful alternative and portraying vaping as a personal choice to engage younger generations to vape and smoke. Moreover, these tobacco companies are supported by a wide range of affiliated lobbying organizations. These organizations promote vaping as a way of quitting smoking. These organizations lobby against the government and advocate for loosening restrictions and regulations against vaping. The government agencies collaborate closely in protecting the public health. The Department of Health and Aged Care oversees national tobacco control policies, including plain packaging laws, smoke-free environment, etc. The Therapeutic Goods Administration (TGA) plays a central role in evaluating and monitoring therapeutic goods, classifying nicotine vapes as prescription-only products, and ensuring that any approved devices meet strict safety standards. The Australian Border Force is responsible for enforcement, screening, importations, sales, and distribution of illicit tobacco and vaping products across the country. The Australian Taxation Office's ATO contributes by imposing excise taxes on tobacco and vaping products to discourage nicotine consumption and reduce affordability, particularly among young people. Finally, the Australian Federal Police support these agencies by investigating and disrupting large-scale illegal sales. The government applies a wide range of tactics to reduce and prevent early nicotine consumption, particularly among young people. On 1st of July 2024, the Therapeutic Goods and Other Legislation Amendment Act came into effect to address the growing health risk of vaping. Under this amendment, vape products can only be sold at pharmacy, meaning tobacconists, vape shops, convenience stores are prohibited from selling them. Vape flavors are limited to mint, menthol, and tobacco, and advertising of vaping products is banned. Individuals aged 18 and over can buy vapes containing 20 milligrams per milliliter or less in nicotine from participating pharmacies without prescription. After consultations with pharmacists, Those under 18 require prescription from a doctor or nurse practitioner, following state and territory laws to ensure appropriate medical supervisions. Anyone, regardless of age, who needs to vape more than 20 mg per milliliter of nicotine must have a prescription. Although the ATO has not implemented the excise tax on vaping products, it continues to increase 5% of tax rate per annum for tobacco. Although these tactics limit the availability, accessibility, and affordability of vaping products, they raise many concerns about potential growth of black market trading and illicit vaping products with unauthorized components. Non-government organizations and advocacy groups play a crucial role in shaping Australian tobaccos and vape control policies. These organisations are the Australian Council of Smoking and Health, Quit Australia, Lung Foundations Australia, Cancer Councils, and Public Health Association of Australia. They are the key players that advocate, publish statements, submit proposals to parliaments, run public campaigns, and offer support for quitting. These groups often use evidence-based advocacy and public outreach to influence policy. They run awareness campaigns across various platforms, including social media, schools, and workplace, to emphasize the health risk of vaping. Another important strategy is media engagement, where experts provide commentaries to influence public opinions and counter misinformation spread by the vaping industry. While the NGO are strong advocacy groups against vaping, they face several challenges, such as limited funding. These organizations, such as Cancer Council, Quit Victoria, are often partially funded through taxation of tobacco consumption. Moreover, they often have limited funding, which limit capacity for long-term campaigns, especially when compared with gigantic financial resources of tobacco industries. The tobacco industry and affiliated groups represent the most powerful counterforce to Australian strict vape regulations. These include major tobacco companies such as Philip Morris International and British American Tobaccos, vape retailers and distributor associations, or pro-vaping advocacy groups. Their goals is to protect commercial interests and weaken restrictions that limit market access. As of 2024 and 2025, the total revenue of tobacco wholesaling was $1.5 billion, placing it one of the most important trading markets in Australia. This also emphasizes the enormous financial resources these companies withhold to invest in mass media, campaign, research to lobby the government policy. In recent years, these tobacco companies have claimed moral and social accountability by promoting corporate social responsibility. They claim to move away from combustible tobacco to reduce global tobacco health. However, by investing in and introducing vaping products, these companies restore long-term market sustainability and shareholders' confidence as combustible tobacco's uses declines. This corporate social responsibility promotion serves as a lobbying strategy to build alliance, credibility, and influence policymakers to shape tobacco control agenda and undermine tobacco control policy. The industry also manipulates scientific research by funding studies that aligns with their commercial interests, as well as discrediting the health effects of vape products. They also include mass marketing such as social media via influencer and describe e-cigarettes as water vapor, less harmful, and making it more appealing to youth. They also use advertorials to undermine government credibility and sway political opinions. In 2020, Philip Morris International paid 8 sponsor advertorials to frame government's strong stances on e-cigarettes, emphasizing its regressive and dismissing of technology. Furthermore, the pro-vaping alliance group further improved the power of opposition groups to influence public perspective and lobby maker. These organizations such as Alive, World Vape Alliance, Foundation of Smoke-Free World, build strong credibility among the populations by promoting vaping as a way of quitting tobacco. These alliance advocate-run campaigns provide cessation programs for smokers to quit through vaping. They also promote pro-vaping research information to engage public communications and further lobby the government to loosen the restriction on vaping. Some of the organizations are heavily funded by the tobacco industry, providing a large capacity and resources to run campaigns and programs to further lobby the government decision maker. The power dynamic in Australian vape regulations reflect a constant tensions between the public health goals and industry influence. The government holds legislative authority, and NGOs like the Cancer Councils provide scientific credibility and moral leadership. However, the tobacco and vaping industry poses far greater financial resources, lobbying power, media access, allowing them to shape narratives and challenge reforms. Despite stronger regulations, these imbalances reveal how commercial interests can still outweigh evidence-based advocacies, making policy enforcement an ongoing struggle. The Australian agency and health organisations should enhance collaborations to ensure consistent enforcement and unified public message. Education campaigns targeting young people need to expand across school and social media to address misinformation about vaping. Great transparency in industry lobbying and stronger penalty for illegal sales should also help protect the policy integrity. By improving coordinations, communication, and accountability, Australia can maintain its leadership in tobacco control while adapting effectively to emerging challenges in vaping landscape. Thank you.